Hey, can I speak directly to your heart for a minute? We're just at the beginning of the year, and maybe it's not feeling like a fresh start at all. Maybe it's feeling like more of the same, more uncertainty, more setbacks, more weight on your shoulders. If that's where you are, let me just say this: you're not alone. It's okay to feel tired, discouraged, even a little hopeless. But I want to remind you of something. God sees you, and He hasn't left you. He knows exactly where you are, and He hasn't left your side. Let's walk through some passages that can breathe life back into you when it feels like the world is closing in. God has a specific message for you right now, so listen until the end. In Jeremiah 29:11, God says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." You might feel like your life is on pause, like you've hit a wall and don't know how to move forward. Maybe you've been applying to jobs and getting rejection after rejection, or you're stuck in a situation that feels like it's never going to change. But this verse is a reminder that God's plans are bigger than our circumstances. He doesn't just see where you are, He sees where you're going. Think of it like a puzzle. Right now you might only see one confusing piece, but God sees the whole picture. And He's telling you that it's a picture of hope, of a future filled with purpose. Trust Him, even when the path isn't clear. And Psalm 34:18 reminds us that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. This one is for the moments when the weight of your grief feels unbearable. Maybe you've lost someone dear to you recently, or maybe it's the loss of a dream you've been holding on to. Grief doesn't always come from death. It can come from a life that didn't turn out the way you thought it would. God is not far from you in those moments. He's right there, closer than your breath. Imagine a child crying and a parent scooping them up into their arms. That's how God draws near to us when we're hurting. Let Him hold you in this season, and remember that brokenness is not the end of your story. So do not fear, says the Lord in Isaiah 41:10, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Fear has a way of creeping in, doesn't it? Maybe you're scared about how you're going to pay the bills next month. Maybe you're worried about the health of a loved one or even your own. Fear whispers lies, making you feel like you're walking through this life alone. But this verse is God's way of speaking directly to that fear. He's saying, I'm here. I've got you. You're not carrying this alone. Let Him be your strength when yours is gone. Picture yourself stumbling, about to fall, and God reaching out His hand to steady you. That's who He is, a God who upholds you when you feel like giving up. God does not want you to seek this world when you are feeling like you are, right now. In Matthew 11, verse 28 through 30, He tells us, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." How often do we carry burdens that were never ours to bear? Maybe you're overwhelmed, juggling work, family, and the constant pressure to keep it all together. You've been running on empty, but Jesus is inviting you to lay it all down. Imagine this: you're carrying a heavy backpack filled with every worry and responsibility you've picked up. Then Jesus comes alongside you, takes it off your shoulders, and carries it for you. That's the kind of rest He offers, not just physical rest, but deep, soul-refreshing rest. Let Him lighten your load. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Romans 8:28 is a lifeline for the moments when nothing makes sense. You might be wondering how the heartbreak, the setbacks, or the struggles you're facing could possibly lead to anything good. But God is a master at turning broken pieces into something beautiful. Think of Joseph in the Bible, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, thrown into prison. Yet, God used all of it to position him for a greater purpose. Whatever you're going through right now, trust that God is working it together for your good. It might not look like it now, but the end of the story is worth the wait. If you're feeling discouraged right now, let these verses remind you of one thing. God is the answer. He's not just the light at the end of the tunnel. He's the light that walks with you through it. Your feelings are valid, your struggles are real, but so is the hope we have in Him. Write these verses down, meditate on them, speak them over your life when the weight feels heavy. And remember, God hasn't brought you this far to leave you. He's working behind the scenes, even when you can't see it, and His plans for you are good. Each day is a fresh start, a blank canvas waiting for you to create something new. You don't need a new year to define your chance to begin again. God's mercies are renewed every morning, reminding us that each sunrise is an opportunity to leave behind yesterday's struggles and step into today with hope. Whether it's setting a new goal, healing from past hurts, or simply choosing joy, every day offers the gift of starting over. Embrace it. You're not bound by what was, you're empowered by what can be. Wake up tomorrow and start over. You got this. Watch these videos on the screen for more inspiration.